In this video, I'm gonna be talking about what kind of drugs, supplements, and other things I'm using not just for hair loss, but also for general health and the gym. I'm also gonna be talking about other things I'm planning to use once released, what I'm not planning to use at all, and some other things that I'm still considering should my hair loss go south. It is highly requested video, so make sure to stay until the end because I'm gonna be going through all the things I'm using. Now, I'm not gonna be going into great details in this video about every single thing I'm using because, this video gonna take hours, but rather a general overview and the reasons why I decided to use something or not. Thank you, Manuel, for sponsoring this video, but more on them later. Alright, let's start from the hair loss. I'm obviously taking finasteride 1 milligram per day. This is the most effective drug that you can use for male pattern baldness. Now, I'm using Propecia, but it doesn't really matter which brand you're using as long as you're taking it from a reputable source. And if you decide to go with the generic because it's cheaper, my advice would be just to stick with this generic because it's not a really great idea to jump from one generic to another. There's a little tiny variation in active pharmaceutical ingredient in generic brands basically. So once you start generic and you see it works, stick with the same brand. Another thing I'm obviously using is oral minoxidil, specifically Lonitin brand 2.5 milligram. I've tried in the past topical minoxidil 5% and I've been using morning, evening, twice a day basically, also together with microneedling, and I've been using it for 12 months before my first transplant. And actually I've seen pretty great boosts. So topical minoxidil definitely, especially combined with microneedling, works extremely well for vast majority of people. And these are basically the main things I'm using to combat male pattern baldness. Because let's face it, these are the only FDA approved treatments, we're talking about topical minoxidil, to treat male pattern baldness, and they're the most effective of them all. Everything else is either experimental, is not released yet, or this efficacy is not really that great. So this is why I decided to keep it as little as possible, because it's going to be easier to keep up with this long term, because as we know, hair loss is progressive, so we need to treat it basically for life. Since finasteride and minoxidil are the only FDA-approved treatments to treat, male pattern baldness, basically, this is why I suggest, if you're living in the UK, to get your hands on these products from today's video sponsor, Manual. Manual is actually a great company, and they're really ethical, and this is why I kind of feel good about, working with them together. They're prescribing the only FDA-approved treatments to treat male pattern baldness, and moreover, when you're ordering, you're receiving all your products needed, and they're also giving this kind of booklets where basically they describing everything, how the medication works, and also what is more important for me, that I keep telling so many people about the hair growth cycles, and they're also explaining here how the hair growth cycles work, so you don't need to freak out that starting minoxidil or finasteride and you got the shedding and how long you're gonna last and stuff like that. The best part about them is that it's easy to access, it's discreet, it comes in this kind of box that you really nobody knows what's inside, and they're boom, so Manual products, They're offering 180-day money-back guarantee. So basically, if you start your treatments and after 6 months you see it doesn't work and you're not happy about it, they'll be able to refund you your money. And if you don't want to take pills and you're actually after topical finasteride, they can prescribe a great mix, basically all in one, finasteride and minoxidil. And if you look at the price, especially with the 50% discount, in the link in the description below, it's absolutely a steal. So another thing I'm using is a Nizoral Shampoo with a ketoconazole, 2%. So I'm using it only once a week, and of course I'm not contributing much, if anything, to be honest, in terms of hair loss reduction. There's some studies, of course, saying that 2% ketoconazole shampoo used is almost as effective as 2% minoxidil. But the main reason I'm using is just to make sure my scalp is healthy, because ketoconazole is an anti-dandruff, shampoo in a shampoo form. So it's definitely great to keep your scalp healthy. And, that's what you want, to have a healthy environment so your hair basically grows nice and healthy. I'm trying to wash my hair with shampoo as little as possible, so every Monday for me it's Nizoral, and then maybe another 2, maybe maximum 3 times a week I'm using whatever, really. I'm just trying to find something that works for my hair, which is really thin, fine hair, so I'm just buying something like that. And recently Manual gave me to try their power shampoo. Actually, I've been using it for more than 2 months already, and this is actually the second bottle they gave me. So now let's talk about what I will be using once it's gonna be released. So obviously it's a currently experimental drug. So first of all, let's talk about clascaterin, also called CB0301, under the brand name Breezula. This is a topical anti-androgen which is currently undergoing clinical trials for FDA approval. And although you are able to buy right now in a gray market and start using it, or you can buy the brand name Winlevi that they already FDA approved for treating of acne, it's of course a much smaller dose of 1%, and you can technically do much bigger, but it can just cost you a shitload of money. But personally I decided just to see and wait until they can actually approve the one for hair loss, and which, you know, dose is going to be the best. Seems like 7.5% is going to be the sweet spot for the hair loss. Although it's not something miraculous, it's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna be a substitute for finasteride, but you can actually stack it up on top of finasteride and minoxidil. Another thing I'm obviously looking forward to is pyrrolidamide, also called KX826 under the brand name Kintor. This is a really promising topical anti-androgen that looks like it might be as effective as finasteride, although again we don't have really much data on it, but nonetheless I'm really looking forward once it's going to be approved by FDA, and you know, I'll definitely stack it up. These are the two treatments that I'm actually looking forward to stack on top of my current regimen. So talking about what I'm definitely not planning to use in the, you know, near future is things like fluoridol, for example, as it's not really as efficacious, and you know, committing to a topical right now, I'm not using any topical, so committing to a topical right now is just simply not worth it for me. It's just too much hassle for such a small amount of, you know, potential improvement, if any. You know, I don't think it's worth it for me personally. Another thing I'm not planning to use is alpha-tridal, simply because it's pretty difficult to get your hands on it. You know, it's mainly used and approved basically to treat hair loss in men and women, actually, in Germany. And while it's anti-androgen, albeit from, you know, estrogen derivative, it doesn't look like it has so much efficacy for me to like to have this, you know, hassle to keep applying, and basically the same thing like with the fluoridol. It's just, for me personally, it's not worth it. But if, for example, if you absolutely cannot tolerate finasteride, then alpha-tridal would be definitely a great, you know, things to explore. Now, for the things that I'm still kind of considering to use are things like, for example, dutasteride. So if I, for example, see in the future that my hair loss start progressing further, like my lateral hams start to, you know, drop, my crown start to, you know, expand and drop as well, this is when probably I would decide to, you know, add to my treatment dutasteride, whether it's gonna be once a week on top of, you know, finasteride, or completely replace finasteride. I'll decide at that moment. But right now I don't feel like I need it, and I would rather have, you know, this option in my back pocket, you know, should I need in the future, because let's be realistic, you know, the hair loss is progressive, so we need to keep treating it for our whole life. And although there is evidence that, you know, the like finasteride, for example, it works for like decades to come, but again, looking at 10-year study, the higher your Norwood level is, the less likely your like finasteride will work long term. So for the first 2-3 years, it can work really well, maintain and like stabilize hair loss, but then slowly you'll start like progressing further. So that's the case. If I see I need it, I'll probably don't hesitate, you know, to start dutasteride. Another thing is oral minoxidil, specifically higher dose. A lot of people keep asking me, so Rolandas, did you increase your dose of oral minoxidil already? And the answer is no. I'm still using 2.5 milligrams since basically I started. It's been almost 1 year now, and I don't really notice any side effects. And it looks like it's working, albeit not like amazingly. I don't have this crazy regrowth, but also I don't have much side effects. There is very slight hypertrichosis, you know, in between my eyebrows and temple peaks, and that's it really. Maybe like beard started growing like a little bit faster, but no extra growth, in case you're wondering. But should I see the need in the future that hey, my like anagen phase looks like it's getting shorter and my shedding phases are like keep increasing, that's probably when I probably will up the dose of oral minoxidil to 5 milligrams, because again, why not? Let's keep these options in the pocket should I need it in the future. And last but not least, microneedling. So some of you know that I've been doing an experiment microneedling with a dermapen on my donor to see my scars, and I've been actually posting this video about it really soon, just to check whether my scars improved or not. But in terms of using a microneedling device on the thinning area, to me personally it's not worth the hassle, only because I'm not using any topicals. It works extremely well with topicals to, you know, to enhance the penetration through the skin and everything, and basically the whole efficacy of the topicals. But right now I'm not using any topicals, and although microneedling itself has some potential to work on its own, there are some studies confirming that, but for me it's not convincing enough to have, you know, this hassle. And again, we really don't know the long-term effect of microneedling. Maybe it's potentially creating like a, you know, scarring under the skin, and if, for example, I decide to have a future, like further transplants in the future, this might impact the growth of the transplant. Although on the other hand, I was using microneedling for a year before my first transplant. I was doing everywhere, and it looks like everything grew normal. It's just my observation. We really don't know for a fact, so I don't want to state anything as a fact. So this is just my opinion. I might stack it on top of other treatments if I see I have the need, and probably if I start using some topicals, maybe that would be a great time to as well introduce it. But as of right now, I see the need. So moving on to vitamins, I'm obviously a huge proponent of just daily multivitamins, because let's be realistic, nowadays our our nutrition is not really that great. We're eating quite bad food, fast food, and even the food that we're buying in a store, it's usually not like the best quality. It's not like organic, grass-fed, etc. So I'm really big believer that we're definitely lacking of certain nutrients. So I'm taking multivitamins, performance kind of style, that have a higher percentage of this, like all the essential, vitamins, only because, I'm like really active going to the gym and stuff like that. So basically I need more of this. I'm also using omega-3 because it's really great for your brain function, and actually there's some evidence it's like great for, hair health. Although I'm not taking for hair, I'm taking obviously it's for general health. If you want to be specific, I'm taking per day 3,300 milligrams of omega-3. I'm also taking ZMA, so zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6. I'm taking it before sleep, and zinc is overall great for like overall, health, and there's some evidence saying that it's great for natural like testosterone production, whatever. I don't know if that actually works, but I'm always been using it and I'm feeling great. I'm also using vitamin D3 paired with vitamin K2, and there's actually quite a lot of evidence saying that quite a lot of people have deficiency in vitamin D3 because we're spending most of our time indoors, not outdoors, not enough time on the sun. So I'm a really big believer that a lot of people have a certain amount of deficiency. I'm just taking 4,000 international units of vitamin D3, and it comes together as a supplement with K2, 200 international units, because the K2 supplement is helping for vitamin D3 to absorb in your body better. If we're talking about gym supplements that I'm using to basically help me to work out and grow, it's obviously I'm taking protein shakes. I'm using a mixed protein of whey protein, egg protein, and casein protein. I'm using roughly 20-25 grams of protein, like per shake, and I'm maybe once or twice a day. Sometimes I'm not taking it at all. And I know there are some studies, linking consuming protein to hair loss, but I am not buying it, because the only person who is finding this link is the one that's selling the other shakes that are more healthy. It's just, I'm not buying it. And other things I'm using is I'm using a pre-workout and post-workout compounds. I'm a big fan of the Jim Stopani and his of course workouts, and his basically all the supplement brands. And what he has here in the pre-workout is obviously going to be creatine. He's using creatine hydrochlorate. 2 grams of creatine hydrochlorate is going to be before workout and after workout. There's also inside beta-alanine, 2 grams, betaine, 1.5 gram, taurine, 1 gram, alpha-glycerin, phosphoryl choline, 150 milligrams, citrulline malate, 6 grams, and BCAA basically altogether comes as, was it 6 milligrams, as well as L-tyrosine, 1.5 milligram. For focus in the gym. And obviously caffeine, how much is here? 300 milligrams of caffeine. It's quite a lot, but if someone is sensitive, maybe it's not a good idea. For me, it works well, even though most of the time I'm going to the gym in the evening, about 5-6 o'clock. I'm taking pre-workout, and I'm sleeping actually pretty well. It also has a huperzine A, 50 milligrams, and black pepper fruit extract, 5 milligrams, which basically helps to digest all of this concoction. And this is my pre-workout. My post-workout is again from the same brand that is specifically designed to take after workout, which contains L-glutamine, 3 grams, creatine, again, hydrochlorate, 2 grams, beta-alanine, 2 grams, L-carnitine, L-tartrate, 2 grams, and again, BCA, 6 grams, as well as the black pepper fruit extract, just for digestion. Oh, there also is a betaine and taurine. Betaine is 1.5 milligram and taurine is 1 gram. So yeah, it's much easier rather than buying, all the supplements together, mixing them yourself. Is just get like a post-workout and that's it. And I've been using this for actually many years on and off. I just haven't been consistent to going with it to the gym. I've been taking this kind of supplements for, many years, to be honest, and I never contributed to, like, for example, creatine to hair loss. Like there's some one study, confirming it. So yeah, I'm personally not buying it, and creatine is great for overall, you know, gym performance basically. And that's gonna be it for the things that I'm currently using. If you got any questions, make sure to drop them in the comments down below, or if you got any opinions on my stash of different treatments or whatnot, multivitamins, let me know your thoughts about it. What do you think? I will be really curious to find out. And from here, if you're still looking for a best hair transplant clinic and you still cannot decide, you know, which clinic to choose, which doctor to choose, this video here will go in a great detail on what exactly to look for in a good hair transplant clinic or doctor, so you can find the best clinic for you. Stay tuned.